Hi everybody, I'm Joel Barnhart, and this is Who Did It Better, the show where I compare twin films, sequels, and remakes and tell you who did it better. I probably won't be doing this intro again as it feels unnatural and I don't like it. Today's episode will be Deep Impact vs. Armageddon, or as I like to call them, an actual film versus Michael Bay jerks off the red states. Both films were released in the summer of 1998, and while they were both financial successes, Armageddon beat out Deep Impact by about $175 million. All this means, though, is that more people made the wrong choice because Deep Impact is clearly the better film. I don't even know why this is a question. One of these films is a fairly realistic portrayal of how these events would play out, and the other one has miniguns in space.
Whoa, watch your head. Sorry, Harry.
Let's break it down. They both have the same basic premise. A large space object is going to wipe out all life on Earth, and we have to send a team of astronauts to drill into it and blow it up with nukes. But that's pretty much where the similarities end. In Armageddon, it's a meteor, and Deep Impact, it's a comet. Armageddon puts much more focus into the oil drillers and their training, where Deep Impact more closely follows the characters who really don't have anything to do with the mission. Armageddon's choice to focus almost entirely on the drilling team isn't necessarily a bad one in theory, but it's not handled well. The entire second act of the film is basically the team training for the space mission and is almost completely played for laughs.
Mr. Chappelle, you're next.
Oh, gee, lady, I just came here to drill.
Oh, so did I.
In fact, Armageddon doesn't seem to take the end of the world very seriously at all. It's all these awkward comic relief moments that undermine the tension of the story, and so they have to fill it with this ham-fisted melodrama to compensate. Deep Impact, on the other hand, largely plays it straight and allows the gravity of the situation and the effect it would have on everyday people to be the source of the drama. Both films have an ensemble cast. Deep Impact tells three different stories as they pretend to the end of the world. We have Tay Leone's Jenny Lerner, a reporter who stumbles upon the government's plan regarding an extinction-level event, and also has to deal with the recent divorce of her parents and reconnect with her estranged father. We also follow Elijah Wood as Lear Biederman, the high school student who originally discovered the comet, and his interactions with his family and girlfriend. And finally, we have Robert Duvall's character, Spurgeon Fish Tanner, an aging astronaut tasked with piloting the mission to destroy the comet with nukes. These stories ground the film on a personal level, adding real humanity to the already high stakes of the possible end of the world, making us actually care what happens to the people in this movie and hope for their survival. Armageddon, on the other hand, oh boy, Armageddon. Armageddon tells the story of the people directly involved in the mission to save the Earth, but man, most of these people are shit. And I don't mean in the poorly written way, I mean the characters are garbage people. Our introduction to Bruce Willis's character, Harry Stamper, has him literally trying to murder a man for dating his daughter. Murder! He pulls a shotgun on an oil rig, he just begins firing wildly like a madman, endangering not only the life of the person he's shooting at, but everyone on the fucking oil rig. Why do you even have a shotgun on an offshore oil rig, you goddamn crazy person? This isn't funny. This is serious. Why is this happening? I fucking hate this movie! Anyway, these characters, the oil drillers, are all fucking doozies. We get not one, but two statutory rape jokes in the first act of the film. The oil drillers have a list of demands that must be met in order for them to be willing to save the world, a list that includes not ever paying taxes again. We're supposed to be rooting for these assholes? You'd rather die and allow everyone else on the planet to die than pay taxes? Fuck you! This movie has an incredible cast. How did any of them agree to this shit? Look at the IMDb page. Look at this. Bruce Willis, Ben Affleck, Billy Bob Thornton, Owen Wilson, Steve Buscemi, William Fichtner, Peter Stormare. Bruce Willis, Booby, what are you doing? Everything you do is gold. Even the minor characters in this movie are shit. Every single person with lines in the New York scene at the beginning is terrible. The guy at the beginning who discovers the meteor and his wife are terrible. Side note, the angry wife is played by Grace Zabriskie from Twin Peaks, and I'm so sorry, Grace, you deserve better than this. To Armageddon's credit, we do get some character building moments, which proves that at least one of the 6 credited writers on this dumpster fire knew what they were doing, but it's too little too late. We learn that Billy Bob Thornton's Dan Truman wears a leg brace and couldn't get sent to space, and that Will Patton's character has a son he isn't legally allowed to see. But we find both these things out an hour into the film. Compare that to Deep Impact, where Elijah Wood's family is pre-selected to go to an underground bunker where they should survive the impact of the comet. So he marries his girlfriend so that she can come along with him, and then upon learning that her family can't also go, fucking leaves the bunker to try and save her, or at least die with her. To me, that has a lot more emotional weight than, oh, by the way, What's-His-Face has a kid 54 minutes into the film. Establish that shit up front so we know what the personal stakes are. Maybe show us this instead of anal probe jokes and whatever this nonsense with Eddie Griffin is at the beginning.
Yo, fool! You just kicking little Richard. What the hell your problem?
Man, that dog really my Godzilla, man. What's the little red like you gonna do about it?
Get him, Richard. Sick him. If I wasn't a Christian, I'd be throwing your fat, pineapple-eating ass through the window.
Anyway, another interesting thing that Deep Impact does is place the bombing attempt in the middle of the story instead of at the end, and to have it fail. The bombing in Armageddon takes place at the end of the film, and most of the action happens away from Earth, on the asteroid, intercut with some nonsense at NASA. Putting a failed attempt in the middle of the movie completely changes the dynamic of the story. It's no longer how do we stop the end of the world, it's how do we survive the end of the world, and for my money, that's a far more interesting and frightening story. Armageddon is packed with a lot more action, obviously, but I really do feel like this is a detriment to the film. There's just so much going on at once, and it cuts so rapidly with all these whooshing dramatic camera movements that it's hard to tell what's going on. Deep Impact is, by comparison, so restrained that it's almost comical to watch them side by side. Look at this nonsense.
There's too much debris. We gotta peel off. Negative. We're hit. Mayday! Lost main thrusters. Get them back up. Mayday, Houston, mayday. We've lost our CS thrusters. Mayday. We are out of control. We are going down. Do you read me? Freedom, we are going down.
Decompression in Area 6.
The action in Armageddon is so cartoony and fantastical that it's no longer believable. It becomes pure spectacle with no real tension. So to build the tension, they had to add long, drawn-out scenes of people arguing and defusing bombs and characters getting space dementia, whatever the fuck that is. And I just don't care. It's melodrama. Deep Impact, while less frenetic, is way more effective at tension. Everything about it is more grounded in reality. The ships look like real contemporary spacecraft. The spacesuits look like real spacesuits. The characters act like real people. Compare these two scenes.
Rock down, keep out of that transmission.
Tranny looks good, Harry.
All right, take it out of there. Lock it down, chick.
Nice. How come we didn't get any training on this thing? Whoa, very cool. I can take out this asteroid single-handedly. Okay, boys, give it a rest. I'll take it from here.
How is that?
Lockdown! Lockdown! Woo! Whoa, watch your head. Sorry, Harry.
Get asteroid! What the hell's the matter with you, Rockout?
This is insane.
You lost your mind?
He's got space dementia.
Harry, you want to watch your man.
Max, downshift slowly and put it in reverse. You gotta get that pipe out of there.
What's happening? We're in a gas pocket! We got pressure on the gas! Oh. Man, get out of there! This is it! Harry! I'm ready!
Bye, Max. Take care, buddy.
Hey, shields down!
Oh, Christ.
Get the hell out of there!
one. He's got escape velocity 1,000 feet and climbing.
Mark McHale, get the hell out of there!
In Armageddon, they apparently couldn't figure out how to make the surface of an asteroid dangerous, so they have Steve Buscemi fucking around with a robotic minigun. That premise is so fucking bonkers that when everything goes to shit, you don't care. Deep Impact, however, is fucking terrifying, and man, these guys get fucked up. Now, this isn't to say that Deep Impact is perfect and Armageddon has no redeeming qualities. Taya Leone in Deep Impact goes through almost her entire performance like she was on Ambien, and she's especially bad in the scenes where she's reading the news. Her delivery is completely deadpan, and every time she's on screen I find myself distracted by her weird fucking mouth.
The moles are, well, they're what they sound like. They are drilling machines that burrow to a depth of 100 meters, where they wait to be detonated.
And honestly, I kind of have mixed feelings about her story. Like, on the one hand, it's pretty hard to care about your career trajectory in the face of global annihilation, but on the other hand, I do kind of like the stuff with her parents, so I don't know. Speaking of her parents, though, I find the casting of her father kind of questionable. Like, I'm sure Maximilian Schell is a fine actor, but there's something about his accent and, like, face, I guess, that make him feel like he was wrong for the role. He comes across more like a skeezy strip club owner, you know? Like he's gonna try and sell you a mattress.
I must say, I'm disturbed that you didn't come to our wedding.
Jason, you promised.
I know I promised, but it was a beautiful event, and I missed her. You should have been there. The twins, they were running around like mad and throwing flowers. And it was wonderful, especially Emma, you know, the little one. She loves you. She adores
beautiful.
you. Yes, she missed you too.
I don't know. There's also a scene at the beginning where a Jeep explodes, and for the life of me, I can't figure out why it's there other than to have an action beat in the opening minutes of the film. It serves no other purpose, and the film carries on as if it didn't happen. As for Armageddon, credit where credit is due, this shot is fucking awesome. Also, Billy Bob Thornton's pretty good in this movie. It's not his best performance by a long shot, but he has the distinction of playing the only character in this movie that I don't actively want to die. I have so many more things that I want to complain about in Armageddon. Like, I really hate this movie, but if I point out every little thing, I'll be here all day. The bottom line is that for all its bombast and high budget and admittedly great cast, Armageddon is just dumb bullshit. It's all style and no substance, and like, the style it presents itself in is obnoxious and exhausting. Its characters are all garbage people, so you don't care whether or not any of them survive, and some of them you actively hope die. Deep Impact, on the other hand, presents very human stories. You care about these people and the things that happen to them, elicit real emotional responses. When the meteor fragment hits in Armageddon, it's a cool explosion. When the comet fragment hits in Deep Impact, it's terrifying and gut-wrenching because people you care about are dying, not just extras shot by the second unit. And that, right there, is why Deep Impact is the better film. Hi everybody, I'm Joel Barnhart, and this is a call to action, the part of the video where I ask you to like and subscribe so my channel grows and I can get that sweet, sweet YouTube money. Ready? Here goes. Please like and subscribe. Are we done here?